We're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Hollywood Matrimony Live, where we talk about movies and sometimes argue, and people think it's funny.
These are true statements.
Yeah. Please check out our website, hollywoodmatrimony.com. Don't forget to go find us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and Hive. And we are live right now on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. I don't know why I said El Twitter. It's not like anybody says
Spanish.
that. My dad does say El Facebook
Does
El YouTube, but it's not YouTube. It's YouTube.
Huh.
So it's like the band YouTube in Spanish. Who knows?
Don't get me started on YouTube.
Yeah.
You2 and YouTube. Oh my God, that is a nightmare.
Well, welcome to the show, my friends. We bid you welcome. We have a good variety of movies to talk about. We didn't have a show last week because of late Super Bowl.
Yeah,
that was just a week ago. Time is going so slow.
Yeah, well, there was some personal life stuff too, and then there was the Super Bowl, and there was just a lot of things happened, and we were just like, you know what? I think you were trying to work too, or something.
I don't even know what I was.
So we just decided to not have a show. So we're gonna play catch up on most, if not all, the stuff from last week, as well as a few new things for this week. So
okay, we have a variety. I'm telling people to come watch the show. I'm gonna go like and share, like it says on the screen. Go tell everyone you know. What? I'm not, but my tortillas might have turned out wrong. No, that's exactly right.
Why is the tortillas all puffed up?
They
didn't turn out right if they're puffed up like that.
Oh, they stayed that way.
Yeah.
Oh, when you heat them up, your tortillas should puff, and then you flatten it and you flip it.
Oh, I don't know.
That's how you know.
Unless he just did it as a joke and put it in the jelly after the fact.
Who knows? Sorry, I got distracted by someone in tortillas. Whenever a recipe tells you to put your tortillas in the microwave, you need to be heating those things on a comal, on the stove. You need like a cast iron or thing,
or just the heat burner of a gas.
Put it on the fire on a gas stove. That's
I'll never forget my best friend Danny.
Lord have mercy.
A kid in his house. They had a gas stove, and his dad walking over there and just, you want a tortilla? I'm like, sure. Yeah. Like, he was gonna make us a hot dog. That's what it was. He goes, I'll make you hot dogs.
Yes, hot dogs and tortillas.
I'll never forget the first time he gave me a tortilla with a hot dog in it. I'm like. But it threw the tortillas right on the open flame, and I'm like,
that's how grandma would do it.
Which then you just grab it by your bare hand, flip it, whatever. So I remember going home, and the first time I was going to make tortillas.
Oh no! Did you have a regular stove?
No. We had we had a gas stove, but I was still a child.
Okay.
And I remember flipping the stove on, and my mom was like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm gonna have a tortilla for white people." So she's like, "Are you gonna have some tortillas and butter?" So cute. And I'm like, no, I'm going to heat it up, but I'm going to make a tortilla and put a hot dog in it. She goes, okay. So she goes, how are you going to do that? And I turn the fire and I throw it on there. She comes running, and then I'm reaching. She's like smacking my hand. Like, you can't do that. I'm like, Mom, stop. This is how you're supposed to do it. She goes, what? And I'm like showing her. And she goes, well, that doesn't seem very safe. But then that's how we cooked them from there on out.
Yeah, so. Well, I think too, that's how my grandma would do it. Yeah. And we could do that here. But at my house with my mom, we had an electric burner. Don't put tortillas on an electric burner.
I did try that.
It will stick.
Oh, yes. I have experienced that because when we moved out of that house, that was an old house. We moved into a newer house. It had an electric stove. And I remember the first time not thinking the context of what I was using. I'm going to heat up a tortilla. Toss on there, and I turned around and was like...
that thing will burn. Okay. So then that's why we had a comal at my house. So basically it's like a flat cast iron thing. And that's what you put your tortillas on. You can just throw them all on there and flip them. And you need to be flipping them by hand. Don't use no fork. You'll be okay.
Right.
All right. I don't know why we got on that, but we're going to talk about movies now.
Nothing we're going to talk about has to do with anything about tortillas.
But tortillas are the every bread situation. Hot dogs. Peanut butter and jelly. It's so good. Tortilla with yes.
I don't even like tortillas and hot dogs anymore.
Oh, I do. And I don't even like to heat up my hot dogs. I like them cold.
Wiener. You're a weirdo.
I do. I like them cold with some mustard.
Yeah, she does.
Oh my God. Anyways,
I did used to make a thing where you take a corn tortilla, and I remember seeing it in some recipe somewhere. It's stupid. It's a corn tortilla. You put a hot dog in it. You close it, and then you put a toothpick through on either side, and then you fry it in the pan.
Yeah.
And it's like making. Then you get them put sour cream and cheese or whatever.
It's like making kind of a flauta.
It's a hot dog birria taco.
It's not.
Anyway, moving on.
All right, we have such a wide variety of things, and we're just going to go in this order and see what we get. So
we're going with the stuff from last week first.
Yes, kind of. I'm just going through. All right, here we go. This is your movie, so tell me all about it.
Well, you watched it.
I
Too.
know, but
All
you
right.
were.
So the first one was a movie
Strange.
called Project Wolf Hunting. It's a new one from Wellgo USA. It's I believe it's a Korean flick. And the basic premise, it's kind of like Die Hard meets Universal Soldier.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. It's basically the premise is
on a submarine.
There are no. It's like a ship, not a submarine.
I don't know what it is,
but it's like
strange.
An ocean liner.
Yeah.
Type shipping ship, whatever you want to call it. And they're transporting these prisoners. But there's something else on the ship.
Dun dun dun.
But the prisoners, they basically do an uprising to take over the ship, and so it becomes this brawl of the prisoners versus the guards and the people that are there, and then this other thing starts wiping everyone out. That's an easy way to explain it.
Pretty much.
And it's probably not in the direction you think.
Not at all.
And it is an insanely violent, bloody movie.
This is a little bit okay. So I love bloody movies. I'm gonna just be out there. I'm not grossed out about it. But this was a little over the top for no reason on certain scenes.
For a movie that is not a horror flick.
Correct. It's an
it
action.
might be one of the most bloody movies I've seen at least this year so far.
Yeah, I mean, but some of the blood didn't make sense. Like it was like, why would you do that? Like,
I think that was just the context of what they were doing with the story and being so violent, because you're having to see how strong somebody is,
how strong that
how they just don't care about the
and we don't know. I guess it's a soul. It's like super soul.
Well, we know by the end of the movie, but yeah, it also reminded me of Silent Rage with Chuck Norris, which
it's so random.
If you've never seen Silent Rage,
it's a long time
it's not the same context of that, but the movie, there's a guy they did experiments on him, and so like he's invincible, and it's kind of a scary movie, but it's not.
But it's not.
It's kind of like Michael Myers meets a Chuck Norris movie. Halloween. It's that
and this is crazy. But
this one's way more.
It's like it is very Halloween. Like you shoot the guy and he never goes down.
Yeah,
it's that kind of.
This one is not designed to be a scary movie.
Not at all.
It's just straightforward
action.
Once it starts, it is almost a nonstop bloodbath.
It is
from beginning to end.
Fighting, shooting.
This is not a movie to watch if you don't like blood. Because there is a lot. I'm talking
we have some friends.
I'm talking about heads getting smashed and arms being ripped off, punching through people's bodies, and like it is spraying blood. Like there was some over the top, and I think sometimes people do that to purposely make it over the top so you don't get as disgusted by it.
Perhaps.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it is like there are numerous characters in this movie that walk around just covered in blood for the entire film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But outside of that blood factor, what did you think of the movie?
I thought the movie was good. I mean, I don't know what the budget was on some of this. I mean, I think they did a good job. There's a part, I can't tell you how the thing starts out, and then how he comes there, and he has this one guy. I think you see it if you watch the trailer. You see the guy. And it's like his eyes are kind of sewn.
He's on the cover of the Blu-ray too.
But
his mouth is sewn shut, and his eyes are
sewn shut. So I'm like, how are you seeing anything? But I guess if we assume he's some sort of a super project
I think if that's
soldier,
your concern with the other stuff he can do, then you're looking at the wrong things.
And then some of these people were just kind of gross.
Everybody was gross in this movie, and dirty,
and and so that was a little stressful to me.
I love this movie.
I know you did,
but
it was fine.
I mean,
it lost me for a second in the story of what that one guy was there to do, the doctor guy. But then I guess we figured out why he was there, and it kind of came back. It got convoluted.
One of the things
everybody's fighting everybody.
One of the things with Asian cinema a lot of times is it gets way too convoluted.
Yes.
And it's not necessarily lost in translation. It's just
there were too many people.
They a lot of the films go too long. This one's a little longer than it probably needed to be, for what it is.
Yeah.
There's a nice setup. But then it's a lot of like, we're trying to be mysterious on what's going on, but it lingers a little too long. Mm-hmm. Because when you do find out, it's not as big
that guy was this guy.
Yeah, it's not as big of a revelation as they might have built it up to.
Yeah.
But there's some interesting twists and turns at the end, and there's little Easter eggs of stuff that you're like, wait a minute, is that person? Are they connected?
But remember, that's why we had a whole discussion. The movie's going, okay, so is this guy related to the guy, and was he with it? And then so finally you get the flashback, and you kind of okay.
And I don't know if they're planning to do another one, but I think it did very well. But it does leave itself open for a sequel. So
we found out this Project Wolf Hunting, whatever it is, it's a bigger thing than just these people on this ship. So
I dug this movie, but it's not an award-winning type film, but it's just mindless action with blood and and craziness and insanity, and it's
Pretty
just
much.
it's very familiar, and because we've seen other movies like this in the context of what it's doing, but also felt fresh, like something new, even though it's not a new thing. It's hard to explain.
Yeah, and then I think we watched it English dubbed.
Yeah,
which I would have
because we were working.
I know I would have preferred to watch hear the original. I don't know. I have a thing. I like to hear the original language, even if I don't understand it and read it.
I'd like to hear anything,
but I just he can't hear, friends. But sometimes the English dub, I feel like we're missing something in translation. But oh well, it's okay. I liked it. I did like it. Some of it was just over the top for no reason.
No, it had reason. Awesomeness. Is the reason.
And I just still want to know, how can the guy see if his eyes are sewn shut? It's
the Hulk's pants all over again.
We just let it go.
Anyway, I really dug this movie too. Project Wolf Hunting is available now on Blu-ray and DVD from Mogo USA. I'm assuming you might be able to find it on either Hi-Ya TV or also digital some sort. Since it's already out, that's usually where it hits once you have it on Blu-ray and stuff. So if you want to check it out, check it out.
All right.
And if you go to a certain website called
HollywoodMatrimony.com,
there may be even giveaway copies. Just saying.
Cool.
What's next, sister?
All right, our next movie is the new Netflix film Your Place or Mine, starring one Reese Witherspoon and a Mr. Ashton Kutcher.
Your favorites.
So I will watch anything Reese Witherspoon does.
Are you an Ashton Kutcher fan?
Not really. I don't really have any.
Not one way or another?
Yeah. Okay. Nifu Nifa. He's whatever. So.
But he saves human trafficking people.
He does. Now his personal work, yes, and human trafficking, I do care about. Thank you for saving our world. One person at a time. You know what? He's actually trying to make a difference with his platform.
I actually dig him. I think he's grown into a good actor.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it.
Some different stuff, But I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the Kelso era. So
I didn't watch any of that.
You're dumb.
Okay. But I do watch everything Reese Witherspoon does, so I'm all in.
But Mrs. Cinderita Pointy-Chan.
I know, but I like her. What are you going to do? Okay, so basically, little romantic comedy, I guess.
That is.
They're best friends that have known each other forever. And I feel like
at one point.
I feel like everybody's like, why are they together? And they're not together. They haven't been.
They think it's weird because now they're just best friends. And they already have their own relationships and lives.
And so that's basically it. He's in New York. She needs to go there to study and take a class. And she needs someone to watch her kids. So basically, they flip houses.
The original plan, though, was they were both going on trips.
Yeah.
And they were both going to each other's neck of the woods, so they were going to use each other's houses.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So
no, before that happened.
Oh.
And then, remember, her thing got canceled. Or
her babysitter canceled.
Yeah, so they weren't going to do it at all. And so then he was like, okay, I'll come.
I'll just come take care of your kid at your house. You come stay at my house to take your exams.
Yeah, yeah.
There you go. And craziness.
Life ensues. It was fine.
I think it was fine. I think it's kind of your run-of-the-mill by the formula.
It's a super, super generic...
You know what's going to happen.
Romantic comedy. You know exactly where it's going. You know exactly what they're planning to do and how it's going to play out. But there are little things that make it more entertaining. Steve Zahn's neighbor character that's always out cutting the bushes and stuff is funny. There's some different variables.
Yeah, there's some other stuff that happens with...
Why are you watching Silent Rage over there?
Because I looked it up.
Oh.
Mentioned it in a previous review.
I know, sorry.
So yeah, it's fine. I liked it. I don't know if I would actually watch this one again. I think some of her other movies are better. Quite honestly, it's cute.
It's an entertaining one. It wasn't anything that's, like I said, it's pretty average.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's not boring. I didn't think it was bad or anything. It didn't have that extra oomph to make it stand out.
Yeah, I didn't think it was super over the top funny. And it was normal, haha, but
it felt like it was trying to be a romantic comedy, but also just a story of life. It wasn't trying to be stupid.
Not too comedy.
Yeah,
romantic dramedy.
Yeah, and it wasn't trying to get too into the comedy world,
right?
But it was trying not to get too.
Because it was just about their lives.
Yeah, it was really just a relationship story about
correct.
What is their relationship? They're best friends. They've been best friends forever, but they had a relationship. But is there more there? But they don't think there's more. And they also have other life relationships they have to deal with. And how are they dealing with them? And so there's a lot of variables there. And then it's intertwined with just their life stuff. So I think what it is like her side of the story is a little more straight line, is not as funny.
Yes.
Where his side of the story with the kids is the funny stuff.
Yeah, because he doesn't have a kid. He's a bachelor.
Yeah,
so what does he know?
He's kind of got the crazy parenthood, trying to figure out life, and she's just trying to. She's kind of dating and doing her school
she
stuff.
feels like her child's like allergic to everything. You're gonna get hurt. This is basically my mom.
Yeah.
You can't do anything because you're too little. You're gonna get hurt, and the little boy is allergic to everything. So she has a very set routine and pattern. And when Ashton Kutcher gets there, he's like, "Your mom made all these dinners," and he's just like throws all the food away. He's like, "Let's go get pizza." You know.
Well, I think as we speak about it, I actually feel like the movie is more of a individual's journey of her trying to let go and her trying to let the kid be who he is and her trying to let herself be who she should be, and then you have Ashton Kutcher trying to find who he's supposed to be.
Really, yeah,
as opposed to just he was the outgoing doing his thing, and he had a lady friend that's in it. It's actually pretty funny.
She's funny, Zoe Chow.
Yeah,
she's the funniest part in this whole movie.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed her. So. And she's not even one of the main people, and I kind of enjoyed her more. Yeah, so that's kind of weird.
That happens often when you get the side characters that are just entertaining, and they kind of make the rest of the movie work.
But I love me Reese Witherspoon. She's so pretty.
Is she?
I think she is.
Okay.
That's all.
We'll say okay for that.
But I don't think it's one of her bests. But
no worries. Well, this movie, Your Place or Mine, is available now on Netflix.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Oh, was I even sharing the screen, my friends? I wasn't.
You don't show anything. There it is now, 20 years later, now that we're done talking about this movie. Here is a picture of their faces.
This is like when we did our New Year show about favorite top 10 movies, and I had slides.
She has full slideshow, and I
didn't have anything.
I just had to hold a piece of paper because, that's that's actually a metaphor for our marriage. She's always prepared as nice things, and I'm over here with like a paper straw and half of a paper plate.
You're so funny.
Anyway,
check it out.
Your Place of Mine is available on Netflix.
It's on Felix. Lord.
What's next, sister? We're jumping all the way there?
Yeah, is that okay?
I mean, that's fine. It came out this week, but the other one came out last week. But if you want to save it,
I'm just going.
That's fine. All right, the next one. As you know, if you've ever watched any of our shows, you know this house is a Liam Neeson house.
We love
Liam. We like Liam Neeson. We'll watch anything he does. That doesn't mean we like everything he does, but we do watch anything he does.
I have been a fan since his very first movie that I saw in church. Pilgrim's Progress.
No, you were a fan of that movie, but you didn't even know who Liam Neeson was.
But I remember.
What was the first time you actually saw a Liam Neeson movie and
Pilgrim's Progress?
No, and started realizing Liam Neeson as a fan? You're probably like Taken or something.
No, he did some stuff before Taken.
Oh, he did a lot of stuff.
Was Star Wars before Taken?
Yes, it was.
Okay, there you go.
Are you going to say that Qui-Gon Jinn was your first Liam Neeson experience?
No, it really wasn't. Let me go look at his IMDb and I'll get back to you.
You call yourself a Liam Neeson fan. Anyway,
I just like what he does.
So he's been on this ever since he did Taken. He's been on this track of a lot of these action thriller films. Kind of reinvented himself, but he did say that he was going to start slowing down. He's getting older. He was going to slow down. I think he's still doing them, but they're not always as intense and as often.
Yeah.
But for his latest film, Marlowe, he's taken on the famed detective Philip Marlowe, Private Eye, which is based on a series of books. There's been TV shows. There's been other movies based on the same character. It takes place in the 30s. So it's like the old Hollywood, old school film noir type of detective stories. And so in this film, it's him, it's Diane Kruger, and Jessica Lange. What are you doing?
I'm telling you which movie. I have it over there on VHS. It's the one where
I wasn't talking.
He's a reluctant killer for hire, but he'd rather be planting his tomatoes. It's him and maybe Sandra Bullock. I'm gonna find it. You keep talking.
No, we don't care about your tomato killers.
Just keep talking.
You're just making shit up. She probably never even saw it.
Gun shy.
Oh my god! Oh, you picked some of the crappiest stuff ever.
But this is when I became a Liam Neeson fan.
This movie?
Yes.
Is this the one with the Narcosleepy?
Yes.
That's the only reason you like this. It's not even a Liam Neeson.
It's Liam Neeson.
This is Narcosleepy.
Bullock and Oliver Platt. This is a good movie.
It's an okay movie.
It's cute. What year was this? Year 2000.
So this is still after Star Wars. You're still a liar.
Okay, well,
so
I
back
really
to Star
liked
Wars
it.
then. So this is not the movie. You
Okay.
just said Star Wars.
Well, this is one I really like.
And why do you have a VHS still in the plastic?
Schindler's List. I mean,
you've never even seen Schindler's List.
I haven't. I've only watched it once, and I never wanted to watch it
anyway, the new iteration of Philip Marlowe.
Yes.
Just
Private Eye.
Aptly titled Marlowe. Basically follows the detective, and it's an old Hollywood story, and he's trying to solve a murder, and there's always the dame that shows up.
Whodunit.
Yeah, the dame that shows up, and then there's always like the romantic stuff, and it's normal Philip Marlowe detective mystery kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we watched it separately. They sent us screening links to watch it. We're going to watch it at the same time, so we just kind of watched separately. Before I tell you my thoughts, what did you think of it?
I really enjoyed it. I like the representation of that time period, that whole detective whodunit kind of thing. Very film noir. I loved me some Jessica Lange, by the way. She's still so pretty, though. She's so pretty, I think. I'm thinking everybody's beautiful tonight on all my movie reviews.
I don't know why.
But I think she's pretty, I liked it. I liked some of the aspects. It's one of those where it's not just a straight detective thing. It's where the detective kind of gets involved and unwittingly becomes part of it, and they're after him too. So I kind of like that whole feeling to it. And you meet the damsel in distress, but there's something going on with her too. So I didn't really trust her.
This is all pretty much very generic in the storyline.
So I liked it.
I mean, it's fine. It's one of those that I enjoyed the movie as a whole. I had some issues. Part of my issue was like, you're supposed to really make him. He's described as like this down and out detective, and they don't really play him as really down and out, even though he is. He seems together.
He seems more outcast.
But he seems together as a person, and I think Philip Marlowe was always supposed to be kind of down on his luck. I don't know if he was an alcoholic or a drinker, but it was just that kind of stereotypical. They hire him because let him take the fall or some kind of crap like that. I do think Liam Neeson is good in the role. I think this is a perfect type of role because he's got that gruff voice.
That time period, I'm telling you.
He's got a stature that makes him imposing, but he's not a typical action guy. He looks like an everyman.
Mm-hmm.
There are a few action scenes in this, but they're very believable, simple, like swing punches, throwing people around, kind of stuff, not karate stuff that would make no sense in this movie. There's some twists and turns. My issue, I think, with the movie as a whole is the ending seemed
anticlimactic.
It just felt like there was not an impact of the resolution. It felt like it kind of is one of those where you have an ending, but then there's a kind of another twist ending, and then there's another part. But it all felt like too obvious to me. Like I'd kind of started figuring, I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna be, this person's here, and then when it happens, it didn't have the impact because then it was like no repercussions and there's no, you know what I mean? It just felt like it just kind of happened, and then hey, we're done.
But I wonder though, in a way, that's kind of what would really happen if you're a rich and powerful person. You kind of, it's like, okay, so that happened. Who cares? I continue being rich and powerful.
Maybe. And I also wonder if it's because in a novel, if you're reading the novel,
it'd be
the same kind of thing may have been more impactful because you're creating it in your mind as you're reading it. But when they did on screen, they didn't expand.
It wasn't as shocking. I mean, it was shocking, but not as.
A way to make that twist a little more in your face and the finale a little more exciting. It felt like it kind of started, happened, and then kind of ended all in one like baby wave instead of a tidal wave.
Yeah, I did like the very, very last scene with the guy, and he kind of hands him the thing. He's like, "You're gonna need this." I liked that part.
I would love to see him take on this character some more and do just different mysteries. The movie didn't do well at the box office, which is another interesting thing of he's been. I know he hasn't been a big theatrical draw since a few films past Taken, and I know there's some controversy with some stuff he said a few years ago. But it's surprising, like a movie like this, with this cast, like not even just Liam Neeson, but also Jessica Lange, but maybe their time are kind of over as far as box office draws, that it didn't get more pushed. Because I had never seen a single trailer for this movie.
I never did either.
Up until about a week before the movie came out, and it wasn't even sent to me. It was like I just happened to pass it while looking at something else. I'm like, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
And then they said, hey, you want to watch this at home? And it's like, that means it's getting a smaller release, you know. So I don't know what happened with it when they made it. The director is Neil Jordan, who made Interview with the Vampire and that movie Greta. So it's not a director that doesn't have any kind of track record.
Right.
So, but who knows? I thought it was fine for what it was. You know, I didn't expect that action spectacle. It is slow at times. It's kind of, it does drag.
Yeah,
sometimes.
There's some parts that are a little bit too slow.
I felt like there were a few characters that they added into the thing that they were just trying to expand the mystery, and they serve no point.
Right.
But at the same time, that happens a lot when you're trying to put murder mystery kind of things together.
Yeah.
So
it's just, it was fine.
It is what it is.
It was fine.
If you like Liam Neeson and you like film noir, old detective movies, or just Philip Marlowe, then it's worth checking out. Yeah. You kind of decide for yourself. Marlowe's in theaters now. And I got to pick my nose because it's just.
All right, I'll cut that out. All right.
You don't need to cut it out. Let them see my boogers.
This movie, I have been so excited to see it and now to talk about it. It is the movie Piggy, originally Cerdita, as it's a Spanish film from Spain.
And it's about a pig farm.
It's about this cute little girl right there that you see on your screen.
There's nothing little about this girl.
Well, she is being bullied and called pig all the time. They're calling her Piggy, like in public, in front of it. But just going around calling her Piggy. Posting about her on social media, as happens. And it says she's bullied by a clique of girls. You see in the trailer that the girls, she goes to the pool, she's wearing this little bikini you see there. The girls steal all her clothes, her towel, everything, leave her there. And so she has to just walk home, and people are picking on her, you know, driving by, throwing things at her. And we see this in the trailer. She sees now the mean girls are getting taken.
Not by Liam Neeson.
No, by some kidnapper. And she decides not to say anything because they were the mean girls.
Yeah, and then it's hard to figure out from that.
I wouldn't have said anything
Is
either.
She not saying anything because of just the mean girls? Or is it also because she's scared and then there's like a whole situation there?
They deserve it.
So from that point, it's interesting because the whole film is kind of a story of guilt, but retribution kind of thing.
Well,
and then also, did she do anything wrong by not helping
him? It actually becomes kind of stressful because the police are now searching. And where were you? We heard you were at the pool. Did you see anything? And so it becomes that whole thing, and the whole town is like, tell us you saw something. And you know, it becomes this whole big thing. And then you find out there's a lot of dysfunction within her own family. You know, even her own family is like, yeah, you're fat, who cares, we're all fat, whatever. You know, but it just becomes so.
But at the same time, as horrible as her mother is,
she's horrible.
Her mother still got her back.
Yeah,
when it comes to
people
attacking her, chasing her, and questioning her, she still defends her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it does take some sinister turns here and there. It's, you know, obviously if you're dealing with a kidnapping of sorts, there's going to be some madness ensuing. I thought it was actually kind of it's very slow burn for a long time, even after the stuff starts happening. It's still very slow, but like not in a bad way, like a very meticulous way of building up. Because I think what's happening is you're experiencing her suffering and her dread and her fears and her confusions at kind of almost at the same time as it's happening.
Yeah.
Like even though it's not a single shot type film, you know, kind of thing, it takes over a few days, it's still, you're seeing her, what she goes through, then her decision she makes, and then her deciding, did she make the right decision? And then think if she did or did she not? And then what she's going to do about it. And there's some interesting twists. There's some interesting directions. And then at that point, it gets even more confusing because you don't know what she's doing, what she's not doing,
and
why she's doing it.
You know, and yeah, because I mean, it's not just this one thing. You kind of find out that I guess there's been a string of kidnappings or whatever and missing people. And so you're like, oh my gosh, so now what? And then it all kind of comes back to her because she didn't say anything. Of course,
and the guy,
it kind of comes back.
The guy saw her.
Yes.
She didn't just see it secretly. He saw her.
He saw her. She saw him. He knows. She knows. He knows.
He let her go. And so then it makes you wonder, why did he let her go, and and that's not even a spoiler aspect. That's like just the setup.
So creepy.
It's like, why did he let you go, and do you know each other, or do you not know each other, and does she care? Does she have a different affection toward him, or is she terrified because he knows who she is? And there's this whole weird.
But that creates a little like, is he gonna come get you? Is he gonna do something? You don't know.
It's a weird dynamic, and it is like I said, a slow movie. It's not scary. It's not overly bloody. I mean, there's a couple of blood moments closer to the end.
Yeah. But you know what? This main girl is creepy. So good.
Yeah.
The main girl,
I give her props. We talk about that too. Like, obviously nudity is not always necessary in a movie, but she spends a lot of the movie
like this,
in a bikini
or a bra and panties.
Yeah, and it's not gratuitous nudity. It's because she was, like you said, they take her clothes, and it's her humiliation, and the fact that she went to the pool by choice and to get in a bikini.
Like, I would never wear that.
Yeah, I wouldn't wear one anymore either.
I wouldn't wear a bikini anyway. I would wear a one piece or something. But that's
because you're gordita.
No, but just I have a thing. I don't like to show that much skin. I'm very modest.
I have pictures to say otherwise.
I'm modest in that sense.
But no, yeah, but and I'm not saying this as against her. I'm like, I think people. I'm not modest either.
I am
at all. I mean, I am, but I'm not like, don't look at me. But I am a firm believer that people should dress to what they should be. How do I say it? Because nobody should be told how to dress, and everybody should be able to present themselves however they want. But at the same time, I think there's a certain way you should look and carry yourself.
You don't want to be trashy.
Yeah, but you should also look at your body type or what fits you, what doesn't. Because and I'm not even talking about exposure. I'm like, some people wear things that don't fit. Mm-hmm. Just because they like it, and it's not a piece of expression. It's that shirt does not fit you. No, that's what this is. It's like, and I know it also depends on, like, I know thin people that wear things that do not fit them.
Yeah,
and it's weird. It goes across the board, but at the same time, whether it's a performer or somebody else, if you feel confident enough to be able to get out there and put yourself out, especially like this, like Lizzo's one of those. I can't stand Lizzo's music. I'm not a fan of all the stuff she does because I feel like she's just doing to say, look, I'm proud of myself.
Gratuitous on purpose.
Like, she's doing it to say, you can't tell me what to do, and I applaud her for that. But at the same time, to me, it's now lost its importance because now you're just doing it to say I can keep doing it.
Yeah.
Something like this, she's having to do an acting performance and be out there. It's going to be on for everybody to see forever. Mm-hmm. People are going to be making fun of her. People are going to judge her, and so that she could be experiencing stuff she experiences in the movie in real life too, just for putting herself out there for this, So, but she is amazing. She's really good.
She is, and it looks like she won some sort of award for her performance.
But I think it was a short film first, and then
Well, and then I got to talk about the director. So the director wrote it herself. And she said, just kind of based on her own life experience and her own insecurities, she just wanted to put a movie out there because she said, first of all, real life is scary. Being a teenager is scary, and being an overweight teenager is even scarier. So she just wanted to kind of write this and put it out there. But it is a great movie. It really is. I liked it.
It's good. It might be an acquired taste type movie because of it.
Correct.
It is a foreign film. It is slow. But I thought it was interesting.
Spanish. We watched an English dub as well.
Did you have to watch subtitles?
Did we watch it in Spanish? No, we didn't.
No, it was an automatic dub. We didn't make a choice.
It was an English dub.
Yeah,
I would have preferred to watch it in Spanish.
I would have too, and I would have watched some subtitles.
That's fine.
But and it's one of these movies I've been wanting to see for a while, and we just happen to find it on Hulu.
Yeah, go check it out. It's a really good movie. It really is.
So. And if you don't like it, then
too bad.
Then she said it was good.
Fight me. What?
Oh God! Right into violence. Violence every time.
It's okay.
Piggy's available now on Hulu, and I believe it's on demand, digital, that kind of stuff if you don't have Hulu.
All right.
What's next, sister? Oh, and some other pigs. All right. Let's talk about the latest Magic Mike film, Magic Mike's Last Dance, the third and probably theoretically final film. Magic Mike 2 or XXL, whatever it was called, was supposed to be the last movie.
Yeah.
But apparently Steven Soderbergh got the idea when they were, I guess, watching Channing Tatum and him put together the Broadway show of Magic Mike. Mm-hmm. And it gave him the idea to do this film. So, so this latest one has Magic Mike teams up with Salma Hayek,
Pinot.
Pinot Noir, and they decide to do some kind of a show together. That's a basic setup, but it's like a big stage show. But she wants some sexiness to it, and so he's basically putting on a big budget version of their other stripper shows.
Yes, but high class.
With some class and hiring like actual dancers that aren't just strippers, like ballet dancers and different people, but also and put them in that kind of environment. And also there's budding relationships and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, there you go.
First thing I will tell you, I did enjoy the movie.
Okay.
I like the magic. I know that I am not the audience necessarily.
Correct, but
okay. I do enjoy the movies. I like Channing Tatum, and I enjoy the whole world of Magic Mike. This is my least favorite of all the films. And it's because I like it as part of his journey, and I like it as a film, but I think it lost the magic of the first two movies. And part of that is because the other guys aren't there, and they kind of made that connection. They had one scene in the film, and I thought it was like crappy done. But I'm wondering if it was a COVID thing.
Yeah. I agree. I think it's the weakest of the three films. I think for me, the reason why is because we've been so invested in his life and his journey and the ups and downs. And we get to this, and I feel like this should be his big thing. But I feel like in a way, he's kind of sidelined to just creating a show, but not being in the show. And there's a one point where he is, but I'm like, that's it, and I feel like it was so much more him. And like you said, the other guys and what was going on with them.
Well, see, I think,
and this time it's him with a bunch of people that they don't have any stories connected to him.
Well, I agree with you. I see as a journey him going from being this kind of faceless entertainer, de facto leader of this thing under Matthew McConaughey in the first film, leaving the world behind, coming back, helping his new crew put together a whole new stuff to update and to kind of keep expanding who he is. To me, the next level would be being the director and doing an actual show and taking everything you took from the thing. I think I like the other dancers, but they weren't part of the story this time around. They were there just to dance. They were there. They had lines here and there, but they weren't.
Yeah, they weren't there.
They weren't an effective part of the narrative.
That's what I think was missing for me. Is like there was no connection really with him and these new dancers like there were with the old ones.
Well, and there couldn't have been from the time they're working together. But that's
what I'm missing.
I think
I need the story.
I think to me it was he had no one for him. He had no one to confide in. He had no one to have a relationship discussion outside of his relationship with her and other people that were kind of these funny kind of relationships, but it wasn't that bonding and really close.
I was wanting a deeper story for a stripper movie.
Well, and here's
but there was in the first two.
Well, in the first one, the second one was a little more comical.
You know what? I did not like what's her name in that second movie, and it reminded me again.
Jada Pinkett?
I did not like her at all in that movie. Okay. I didn't like her the first time. I really didn't like her again on the replay.
But did you really not like her this time because of The World Now?
No, I like her in other stuff. She's good in other stuff. I didn't like her.
I didn't know if you said they had a new judgment.
It was too much this the whole time.
But like, that's a stage nonsense, though. But
it's too much.
But I get what you're saying. She's trying to bring the sexy and the MC stuff. No. But you also, if you look at the first movie, it's not really funny. It's a heavy story. It's drugs, heavy story.
Yeah, totally.
It's these relationship. It's a drama. There's some funny jokes in it. The second film was way more lighthearted.
It was lighthearted, but it's still the drama of the stripper life.
Yeah, but it was really sillier because now you get where the other guys were back up in the first one. In that second one, they were all kind of there together. Even though it was Channing Tatum's story, you still got time with everybody. And in this one, it seemed like they were shoved to the side. We don't need y'all for this. And they didn't for the story because they would have all been too old to do this type of story. But it was like we're trying to recapture the drama, but this time it's more of a love story drama as opposed to just they were trying to do what they did in the first movie, I think, but it didn't have the magic. But at the same time, it's still a good movie. I still enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I didn't hate it by any means, and I will say his performance with that ballet dancer or whatever was amazing.
It is
Is she a ballet dancer?
She's a ballet dancer. Okay. My issue is that it's not an issue. It's like you see it so many times. I've seen it.
What do you mean?
The ballet dancer and the hip hop guy.
Oh well, he's the one that originated that with the Step Ups or whatever that movie was.
Was it Step Up?
Step Up was the first one with the.
Yes, so it's like we've done.
But I mean,
are
but
you
at the
just
same
redoing?
time,
There's High Strung. There's Last
but what are you going to
Dance.
do? But here's the thing, though. Here, I disagree with you
There's
on
so
that.
many of these.
I disagree with you on that, on this version of it, because this is a very sexualized.
No, it is very
not
cool.
a porn, but a very sexualized.
It's pretty
while still being very beautiful.
Yeah, very.
And I think it was also a chance to let Channing Tatum have his moment to shine without being another Channing Tatum stripper movie.
Yeah,
you know, he has his moments and stuff, but it's a very erotic dance. Some people are going to look at it like that's porn. It's not nudity necessarily, but it is sexual, but it's a beautiful piece of art.
Yeah,
and I think it's a good scene for encompassing, because the rest of the thing is not that.
No.
So had it been all of that, I would have agreed with you. But that's
how all the other movies start off too, and then you have that one culminating dance that mixes the styles together.
These are movies you watch nonstop.
I know, that's why I'm saying it's good. But here's the thing: I just wanted more stripper movie. I guess I don't know.
But that's the whole thing: is this isn't the stripper movie anymore.
I know, and
he's not the stripper guy.
No, he's not anymore. I know. I get it. I think the other thing is Salma Hayek is like so flawed and jacked up that I was just hoping she'd just be a lovely lady.
Oh,
but
no,
she's got issues.
I love that she had issues, because it it breaks down that wall of the rich perfection and their relationship, and then it makes it flawed and makes it issues. That's what made it interesting. If she had been just perfect and a great story, then it would have been a boring ass movie.
Yeah.
But it's also one of these kind of movies that, again, I'm not necessarily the audience.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not going to work for people. If you hated the second Magic Mike or the first one, you'll hate this one.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's the same.
I mean, really
the same.
I'll watch it again. I do think it's not. I think it's the weakest of the three.
I agree.
I think the first one was so impactful.
I love the first one, but the second one grows on me just because I get to spend more time with those guys.
The guys,
I like the
they're
guys.
Funny.
I just love them all, especially Kevin Nash, and he's so not coordinated.
That's why I like him in the first one, because you see him on. They put him over here in the very end.
He's not very good,
hoping you're not going to see him. But he's just all
he's doing his best. But he's also the oldest guy in the group, being the old stripper.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Oh, well.
Anyway, if you like any of the Magic Mike movies,
you need to watch it just to see how it ends.
And there's a fun callback. They show in the trailer to the first movie that I thought was very clever.
Yeah.
It was a nice way of connecting it all without.
It's all connected.
So anyway, Magic Mike's Last Dance is still in theaters now.
All right, let's talk about this next movie.
All right, the next one is an Apple TV Plus film called Sharper.
Mm-hmm.
It stars Sebastian Stan. What's her name? Julianne Moore. John Lithgow. Is it something Justice Smith?
Just Smith.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Justice Smith, and then I don't know the other girl's name. I'm sorry. And it is a thriller, mystery, con man, whodunit, heist kind of
thing.
Which I love any movies that deal with con artists.
Yes.
If it's done right.
Brianna Middleton.
And the problem is, more often than not, these movies come along and they're just not compelling.
I was just like, oh, this is a movie with what's her name and Winter Soldier. I was like, okay, let's watch it.
Well, that's what's funny is when I knew the base idea from this movie, that it was about some con artist or something.
Yeah.
But then as we started watching the movie, at one point, you were working, we were watching the movie, but we were both working at the same time. I looked at it because I'm like, is this the movie we're supposed to be watching? Because it didn't feel like the movie we're supposed to be watching.
No, because it's
like it's suddenly a romantic comedy kind of thing.
It's told in phases of each person's story.
Yeah, it's a chapter for every character.
It's a chapter for each character. And then you find out.
And what I liked about the chapters, it elevated the film to be something bigger than it could have been, because it's very generic.
Mm-hmm.
And it has lots of good twists and turns, even though you can figure a lot of them out. But it didn't just show chapters of that person's leading up to the moment that we see them. It's showing like their entire but their entire journey to get to become that moment.
Yeah.
So like, if it's me and her, and the story's me, and we're dating, we go through and then it shifts to her story. It's not just her now meeting me and us going through the same thing.
No, it's before
it takes her all the way back before she got to the point of getting to meet me. And so I think that helped give the characters a little more depth. And it made you intrigued. And there's moments that like you figure out pretty easily, but there's other ones that you don't see coming.
Yep.
I think.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you think of the film as a whole?
I liked it as a whole. I really did enjoy it. I thought it was really good. I think everyone was really good in this. To me, I think the best one was the girl Brianna Middleton who plays Sandra. I think
You like her story the most?
I think her story is the most compelling, or at least to me, just because from where she starts out to where she ends up to where you think she goes and she doesn't, but you think she did, and maybe she didn't, and maybe she did, and it keeps you guessing throughout the whole thing to the very end with her. The others that are kind of your specialists and the heisting people, and you kind of figure out they're just kind of bad.
Well, I think like, excuse me, sorry. Justice Smith, I think, had the weakest story, and it wasn't not because it was bad. It's just not a lot happens. His is kind of a love story part of it.
Correct.
And then his
why you shouldn't be young and in love.
But his compelling nature comes later.
It does
when you start seeing kind of things unfold and what's happening.
And I think you
can't say a lot about this movie without.
No, I don't want to spoil anything. I think though throughout the story, his character feels very weak and has lost his power, and I think they've put him in that position on purpose. His father's treated him this way, so he's taken on that mantle of, oh well, I can't do anything with my life, I'm kind of useless. And I think that keeps you open to some suggestion and things that happen in the movie because he has that mentality on his own life.
Excuse me, sorry.
And so people take advantage of that sometimes, and I just thought it was very, very interesting. And I liked what's his name, the main guy, the dad, John Lithgow.
Oh, I didn't think we got enough John Lithgow.
We didn't, but you know what?
I love John Lithgow and everything.
I didn't realize he was going to become so involved in the story the way he did. I thought he was just kind of passing through, like one of the fling of the month kind of things. But it was compelling until later you figure out why, and you're like,
this totally not related, but two John Lithgow movies that I really love. I don't think enough love.
Tell me.
And they're him playing either evil people or bad guys. Which we don't get enough John Lithgow evil either. Like, we got him in Dexter.
Dexter's what I'm thinking.
But he did a movie called Ricochet with Denzel Washington and Ice-T that I love, where he plays the bad guy.
Okay.
And he did a movie called Raising Cain.
Okay.
Which I believe he played twins, so it's playing on the Cain and Abel.
Oh, that's
creepy. If you look up Raising Cain and see the picture, it's kind of cool. I saw both of them in the theaters. I love that movie.
Okay. Oh, the other.
There it is.
Okay.
What year was that?
1992, my friend. You graduated high school.
Yep.
And a oncologist wife of a prominent child psychologist suspects her husband has an unhealthy scientific obsession with their child, unaware of what or who is really going on inside his head. Dun, dun, dun.
I just like John Lithgow as evil is what I like.
Yeah, that's what you want. That's all you want.
He's like a crazy serial killer. And have you ever seen Ricochet with Denzel Washington? Where he's the cop or he's the district attorney that trying to get John Lithgow, who's like a serial killer, and then he ends up jacking his whole life up, gives him AIDS, all kind of stuff.
No, oh my gosh,
it's such a great movie.
Sounds crazy.
And Ice-T's his like a gangbanger friend of Denzel that helps him out. It's like such a great movie.
Strange. Anyway, check out the movie Sharper. It is an Apple original film available right now on Apple TV Plus. We can't really tell you a lot because it's a lot of twists and turns that we don't want to give away. So check it out.
What else we got?
Next, we got this one. We're ready to the last one.
All right, we zoom through that.
I chose this poster.
All right. So the last one we have is some small movie this week. It's the latest movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the first film leading into Phase 5 of the Marvel Universe, which is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which is the third Ant-Man film in the franchise.
Correct.
The 31st Marvel film.
A lot of movies, friends, and we've seen them all.
We have, sadly. I mean, yes, we have. Before we jump into this one, what are your thoughts on the previous Ant-Man movies?
You know what? I really like Ant-Man.
Do you like Ant-Man, the story stuff, or you just like Ant-Man because it's Paul Rudd?
Okay, well, I love Paul Rudd. I think everybody loves Paul Rudd. I think he's another America's sweetheart.
You should. Paul Rudd's awesome.
He doesn't age. He's got the vampiric thing.
He looks the same like he did in Halloween 5 or whatever.
And I just think he's such an endearing little man. And I think when you pair him with Michael Douglas, who, by the way, Michael Douglas is looking good. Yes, as an older man, he's looking good. Michelle Pfeiffer is so pretty still.
I thought they both finally started looking like old people.
I know, but they're pretty. older people. Anyways, I'm just finding everyone beautiful on today's
you apparently
show.
are.
I love me.
Let me guess. So, but you hated Evangeline Lilly's hair.
Yeah, it's too short. It's too short.
I knew I could find something you dislike.
No, I didn't like that. And I don't like that we have a different girl playing the daughter. That's very upsetting
and
to
me. I don't know why. I haven't been able to find anything of why they changed her.
Is the little girl chunky? Is she too tall,
I don't know.
Too short?
Because remember, this is the third person to play the character.
And I know. And I understand between 1 and 2, like 5 years
past. That makes sense. They had to get an older girl. But I don't know why from Endgame to here we changed people. Don't get me wrong. I like Catherine Newton. I just don't understand.
Upsetting.
Because she's the one that's in that what is that horror film we like? Vince Vaughn.
Yeah, where they switch bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
anyway.
But
I like her. We don't like people. We don't like change.
I don't like when you change for no reason because the other girl's a teenager as well.
Yeah.
She would have been fine.
And I read something that she said she found out she wasn't being cast by when they released the cast list. So
that's rude.
But at the same time,
it is Hollywood.
You have different directors. So maybe they didn't want to use the girl that was in Avengers.
They wanted someone more famous.
I don't know. It could be. You never know. But who knows? It doesn't really matter at this point. It is
Anyways,
what it is.
I do like Ant-Man was your original question. Do I like Ant-Man?
Yeah.
I do like Ant-Man. I kind of like the lesser known heroes is who I tend to go for because like I love what's his name too.
I'm just gonna let you keep doing that. I like to say lesser known heroes. These are all like Avengers.
I know, but I'm like
you're talking about lesser known to people that aren't comic fans.
Yeah, it's not your big
because Ant-Man and Hawkeye are huge characters.
Okay, but
they're not Spider-Man
like
and
Captain
Batman.
America.
Yeah, they're not the world people. Everybody knows who they are.
Yeah, or in the other world, it's not like a Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman. It's not there. I feel like they're
understand
here.
What you're saying.
They're not down here like Mr. Bubble, Rockman, or whatever you got. I don't know. Give me some banjo guy or
Mr. Banjo and Bubble Boy.
Yeah,
they're not down here. First of all, Bubble Boy is part of the Legion of Superheroes, and Mr. Banjo is part of the Monster Society of Evil. Get it together, sister.
I'm gonna look up lesser known superheroes. Marvel.
That was a funny thing. My first foray. I love Mr. Banjo, and he's part of the Monster Society of Evil, part of Shazam universe.
Shazam.
And Shazam. But the first time I saw him, because he's literally in just like a couple of quick things. He's not like a massive character. But Robot Chicken used to do these DC comic specials.
Yeah.
And they did a whole is that Nomad?
Mm-hmm.
He did a whole Quasar.
I just looked at Brandon White Tiger.
They did a whole thing of a character would come on the screen that was like seemed just super ridiculous, but like Mr. Banjo.
Yeah.
And it was like lesser known supervillains. And they would do something and then the narrator would be like, yes, this character really exists. I know, because they're so stupid and so ridiculous. You're like, that can't be a thing.
But I think too, in our universe of Marvel, when he's introduced to the other characters, they're like, what? What do? You shrink? You talk to ants? I mean, they kind of dismiss him. But he's like, I saved the world, remember? Yeah. Which he did.
Well, I will tell you this. I hate Ant-Man. I've hated that character.
Do you?
I've always hated that character.
But you love Paul Rudd.
But I also hate Thor.
Yeah, you do.
But
I know you do.
In a comic world. But I do love the movies. I did really enjoy the first Ant-Man movie. I was not a big fan of the second. I think they played too much of the camp of shrinking things. I was annoyed that they kept shrinking the building and nothing fell off a table.
I know that I'm going to cart this thing sideways and
set up and everything's fine. Like I can see the machines being bolted down and stuff, but they just didn't leave any kind of a can of Coke or something laying out. It was like there was little things like that.
These are the things that bother you. Babe, this is Hulk pants.
I know. But at the same time, I understand they were trying to play up the whole thing of having
it was too much.
Where you open it and they had a whole thing of cars, like toy cars, but they're all real cars.
Cars, yeah. It was a lot.
But I let it go because I like the fact that they're at least trying to play up the fun of the powers and things, all the different things that can be done.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing was those first two movies, there wasn't a lot of stakes. Like they were self-contained. I love that the first two movies, both movies were very self-contained. They didn't have the need to be part of the rest of the Marvel universe until later. Like almost every other movie had to have some, right. Not all of them, but you know what I mean. They connected in some fashion, but then bringing them into Endgame, it was a fun way of doing it. So I was hoping going into this film that they were going to finally give Ant-Man something bigger.
Yeah.
And they surely did. It is a big movie. It is, dare I say, Avengers level in size.
Mm-hmm.
It is also, for some weird reason, it is the worst reviewed movie outside of the Eternals in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
And I liked Eternals too.
I didn't like
I
Eternals.
This one.
Eternals has grown on me. I did not like it
at all when we got
I
the
felt
theater.
like
You're like, well, that was crap.
I was like, I like the characters, I like the idea, but I felt like I dropped into a movie that was already happening, and I didn't get to see the rest of it.
Yeah.
But it's grown on me a little bit. It's still my least favorite of every movie they've made.
Selma Hayek's in it, so I liked it.
I know the best part is like pushing her off a cliff. But that being said, I actually really like this movie. It has issues. Yeah. I have a few problems with it outside of the Catherine Newton thing, but her hair and her hair, and I don't care about her hair. But I really enjoyed the movie. I think the front and the back of the film use kind of those silly elements to make it say, hey, we are in the Ant-Man universe, so it feels like the other movies. Mm-hmm. Because everything in the middle does not feel like the first two movies.
Correct.
But it shouldn't because of what they're doing.
And I'm glad it doesn't. I mean, that's the thing. We're evolving, right? I mean, if he's supposedly the one that saved the whole world.
So Ant-Man can evolve, but Magic Mike can't.
Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
Yes. I think, too, the other thing that I liked about this, because I was suspicious when Michelle Pfeiffer showed back up, that suddenly I thought we continued to shrink.
Why were you suspicious when she showed back? She didn't show back up. They went and got her.
Okay, that was suspicious. Here we go. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
I'm not suspicious.
I think you're making shit up.
No.
Because this, I don't think, was originally part of a bigger plan at the time.
No, but I was just going to be like, okay, if supposedly you go whatever, what did they say? Subatomic, and you continue shrinking for all time. Well, at some point, she found a place where she wasn't shrinking in all time. Mm-hmm. And she was able to somehow build some sort of a communication device to get in contact with them and send them a message. I don't know.
After 30 years, yes.
Okay, fine. But she comes back like everything's okay. That's suspicious to me. Baby, if you disappear on me for 3 years and come back and everything's suddenly okay, I'd be suspicious as heck.
Well, everything. But I think everything was okay because she didn't think there was any kind of way of anybody coming out of it. But see,
now we find out in this film.
Yeah,
it was suspicious.
Yeah, but I think the mentality of her being suspicious, there's no way of anybody coming out of that.
And she did this, and suddenly Ghost is healed, and nobody asks any questions. Like, there's something there.
They did ask in the movie. They asked, where did that come from? She goes, I don't know. Anyway.
She knew.
So you're telling me if somebody goes subatomic into that world, you don't think they would come back with something about them? You think they should come back normal?
I need you to tell me what it is. Well, and that's the whole point of this movie is, what's her name? Her daughter.
Well, don't get me, this whole daughter story irritated me.
It's like, what's going on? Why haven't you told me? I've been trying to ask you.
The whole Cassie story annoys me. I get it. But like they kind of just suddenly jumped ahead that she's like brilliant.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't think, unless I missed something, I don't remember anything from the first two movies when she's little or in the Endgame stuff that we ever got a sense that she's brilliant.
And are they married?
I don't know if they ever really said.
Because she's going around calling them grandpa.
Yeah, I don't know if they're married or if they just, did they get married at the end of the other movie?
I don't remember them getting married.
It doesn't matter.
I don't know.
Or did they get better after Endgame when they got
I think it kind of goes ahead, and suddenly she's exploring the quantum realm, and
there's some little stuff that they explained away that they had been working together and this and that and stuff, but then there's also like she suddenly just has free range shrink technology, and I'm like,
well, because her grandpa held.
Well, I know why, but I just thought it was another one of those convenience that I don't like in movies. Like here's a reason we can send Cassie on a mission. Like we don't need Cassie there. Nothing that she did on the movie for me made her ever feel like she was necessary.
Well, I think also because I was mad that the other girl wasn't there.
Well, yeah, but even that I didn't give a crap who played her. I felt that she was just not I really had a blast with the movie. I really dug the movie, but I just felt like her entire story was just not a necessity for the story they told us.
Well, but it's a catalyst in a way for the story they tell us.
I get that, and there's also there's a character I still want to talk a lot about, but I don't want to spoil it for people that may not know it's there.
Yeah.
But there's one of the most ridiculous characters in the Marvel Universe that is also a very sinister character in the Marvel Universe that is in this movie. It's going to piss some people off because they're played up as a joke. But visually, the character is a joke anyway.
Yeah.
If you look at him in the comics and see him, it's the most ridiculous, stupid character ever. But he's not played as a joke in the comics. He's very dangerous.
Yeah.
And this is not the story of that character. So like most Marvel Cinematic Universe stuff, they change it to coincide with the stories they're telling. So this is their Elseworlds away from the comics. a character I never thought I would see on screen, and I loved every minute of him. I was so excited when he showed up.
You were like, what?
Which I knew he was there.
No, because somebody says a line and you're like, that's what's his name? And I heard you, but you had your headphones on, so I couldn't ask you. And then you showed up and you're like, what? And I don't know if you know, you were a little bit loud, but you had headphones on. There was also no one around us.
But I love the way they handled it. I thought he was ridiculous. I was never a fan of the character, and that made me a fan of the character. I really want to tell because there's something else that people can watch about the character that I can promote. But anyway.
It looks like it was the same little girl in the other Ant-Man. Or she was in 2 of them.
She's in the first 2.
Okay.
But she's not in Endgame.
Oh, who was it in Endgame?
It was an older girl's in Endgame. Because she's still the same age in the first 2 Ant-Man movies.
Yeah.
And then Endgame's when it jumped 5 years later. It jumps
a couple of years.
5 years.
Well, he comes back in between. Oh, that first 2. Well, when he comes back, it hadn't been the 5 years yet. He kind of comes back in the middle-ish, couple of years after.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
And because people are still gone and the bologna sandwich.
No, because everybody was gone for 5 years.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
He comes back in the middle to help them figure it out.
He didn't. No, he came back after the 5 years because he comes in after they'd already killed Thanos.
It's been after. He was gone longer than 5 years.
Yeah, because it was after they had already killed Thanos, and now we're 5 years later.
Yes, because this is where, what's her name's hair's all grown out, and she's eating the bologna sandwich.
Thor's fat now. And
yes, you're correct.
They're sitting there at the desk, and then he shows up on the thing. And they're like, is this live?
Anyway, sorry, but doesn't even matter.
But yeah, that was a little bit of an issue. But I did like this was, and I've seen a lot of people say this, and I don't know if you agree or not, but people are saying that this is Marvel's Star Wars essentially because it's very otherworldly. It's kind of Guardians of the Galaxy meets that other realm in Doctor Strange, but it's its own thing. A lot of aliens and creatures and weird things. There's a broccoli character, and
I like the broccoli head guy.
It's like, and I like that a lot of the actors,
broccoli?
They call out the ridiculously of what's happening around them, so it's not lost on them that this is silly.
We all know. I liked it. I liked our adventure. I agree some things are like unnecessary, but it happens. Get over it. I love me some Michelle Pfeiffer, by the way. Always.
Oh, I know. I've heard numerous times.
I don't know. I'm trying to tell you everything without telling you anything.
Jonathan Majors, who plays King, is amazing.
He's really good.
I think he is.
You need to go watch the episode of the time thing.
Oh, he's in Loki.
Yeah,
he's one of the.
You should go watch that.
He's a different version of him in there.
But I think he kind of explains a little bit, so you understand some stuff that happens in this.
Yeah,
about time.
That was the setup of King, and then in this one we've got King the Conqueror, and he's. I honestly think that he might be the most kind of menacing villain that Marvel's had so far. Yeah. You know, Thanos was crazy and dangerous in the snap, but he's like very subtle. He's very calm, and he's very like, well, I'll just kill you then. You know, it's not you know, and I'm going to destroy everything. It's like he just does it. And at the same time, one of my problems with him in this movie, for as powerful as he seemed moderately easy to defeat when it came to the last act, because Ant-Man is not a character that should be able to defeat King. I'm sorry, especially when you think about. And I know he wasn't a full defeat.
But did he? That's what I'm saying. But did he?
Because we know that we're going to get the next Avengers movie is Avengers: The King Dynasty. That's already been announced.
Okay.
So we know King is.
And is this a for real story?
The King Dynasty is a for real story, but it's not going to be the same story.
Right.
Just like Infinity War and Infinity Gauntlet was not the right story.
Go read the book.
Like Adam Warlock that's going to show up in Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was one of the main people that stopped Thanos in the Infinity Gauntlet story. So it's not the same crap.
He was never even there.
No.
Okay, for us.
So which is don't get me started on that. But the knowing that we're going to have an Avengers level movie taking on Kang makes me like, well, if Ant-Man can beat him, the Avengers, that's going to be a 30-minute movie. You know what I mean? It's like Ant-Man is not a powerful hero.
No.
So when you put him up against the likes of whichever are going to be the Avengers at that point, which we don't quite know who's going to be on the Avengers team other than the new Captain America. I don't know who's going to face off against him, but it was that kind of thing. But again, it was just a small thing that didn't hurt the movie for me. But I'm just like, I honestly thought it would be a defeat of like convenience more than actual defeat.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like he beat him, but he didn't really beat him himself. He beat him with and that's kind of how it plays out, but not.
But I'm okay with it. But I don't know anything of the other stories.
And I'm not a fan of King either. I was very irritated when he used King.
I'm okay with it. I liked the movie, guys. I thought
I
it
did
was
too.
fun.
It's got a lot of bad reviews. I don't know why. It's got a lot of people that saying that it's fractured and that the story's bad, and I don't know. It seems to have like really bad from critics, but really good from a lot of the audience, but the non-critics. So I don't know.
It's popular right now. User reviews seems popular. 7 out of 10.
Yeah, like the normal people that seem to like it. It's a lot of the normal reviewers seem to be the ones bashing
Popularity score seems fine. So, 7 out of 10 standard rating. Right
it is in fact the lowest reviewed Marvel movie, just above, like 1 point above Eternals.
And I liked Eternals too, man.
I know a lot of people that loved Eternals.
I did.
I'm also was not a fan of Eternals, so it didn't give me something to suck me in, like Thor and Ant-Man did.
And is it just because it's not one of the big ones, or is it just the story itself?
For me?
Yeah.
No, I felt like
Ant-Man,
I was excited for Eternals just because there's so many versions of these characters. Even though I wasn't a fan of the book, I just saw possibilities.
Yeah.
But what I felt like we got was thrown into something that was already happening, and we went nowhere.
Yeah.
It felt like nothing was really, there was resolution, but it really just set up bigger issues. Mm-hmm. But it felt like everything that led up to that, they were like trying to tell him flashbacks and this, and like there's too many characters. I think Eternals would have been better as a series because they could have focused on each character, then brought it together, and then they could have done like a Disney Plus series kind of thing instead of movie.
And I think randomly some of the reviews is like, hey, this is the setup film to get us started on the next thing. So be kind.
That's the thing I think a lot of people have issues with. That every Marvel movie has been its own thing, even if it's setting something up. This movie did very much just feel like not so much a continuation of the Ant-Man franchise, but setting up Phase 5.
It's a continuation, I think, of their family dynamic and story. But big,
I felt like it was more. It was like the whole thing was designed just to say,
it's trying to get us going on this path.
We're leading toward Avengers Kang Dynasty. Here's where we start.
Yeah. And is the subatomic quantum realm gonna come back in any way? Don't know.
Well, but I think my knowledge of Kang is just all about like time.
Yeah, the only thing we know right now, I do think it did build their family dynamic. That's all I don't think
they're going to do anything else with the quantum realm.
We have a family of wasps and ants. I don't know. Wasps and ants.
I don't think they're going to do anything else with the quantum realm in relation to Kang because he was stuck there. That's not his thing. He's a time. But I will also give them props that he looked exactly like the comic.
Did it?
When he had his blue shield thing on.
Yeah.
Because I was always like, not that Kang was black or white, but I was always like, he doesn't really look like Kang because Kang was supposed to have like a blue looking face. But that was because he had that blue shield on his face. And so when he goes into battle and they show him a few times, I'm like, the color schemes, the cape, the armor, he looks spot on. And I was like, that's Kang. But every time I read a book with Kang, I didn't care. So it's like, but I will say he changed my mind just from his performance. Not really what this character's done yet.
Good.
But I don't know if I'm going to like where it's going, but I'm going to give it a chance, obviously. Yeah. I will say I thought both the after credit scenes were just kind of eh.
Yeah.
One of them was kind of silly, and I don't think it was intended to be silly. And I've heard a lot of people talk about the first one, the mid-credit scene, was kind of stupid and laughable. And they were talking about people laughed, and I don't think you were supposed to laugh. But it is what it is. I thought it was a good movie. I liked it. I thought it's fun. I like the bigger scope. I like all the crazy creatures and the visuals. Cassie needs to stay in the quantum realm and get rid of her. I really want to say the funniest thing we saw was at Alamo. Was the guy that plays the boss at Baskin Robbins did like a little intro thing of like, I guess was like a review recap, something about Ant-Man.
And how the most important character was his partner at Baskin Robbins.
Yeah, what's his name? Dale.
So
he said, he goes, so go see Ant-Man 2.
And Dale.
It was Ant-Man and Dale, Quantumania. He's like, there is no Ant-Man and the Wasp. But then he comes back, so he has a small part in the movie that we haven't seen him since the first movie. So he comes back too. So I thought that was fun.
It was a lot of fun. Anyways, check it out. It is in theaters now. You do need to watch it so you can understand where we're going on our journey. So just watch it. Get some popcorn. Be happy.
And just remember, it's the beginning of Phase 5, so
I was. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, if it does feel like a setup movie, it is.
And Michelle Pfeiffer's there.
Nobody cares about Michelle Pfeiffer.
Paul Rudd, who doesn't age. Michael Douglas, who looks so suave and debonair.
The guy that played Polka Dot Man in Suicide Squad. Remember the guy that throws the little polka dots?
Yes.
Who was also in the first Ant-Man. Remember, he was part of their crew that was robbing stuff, the Russian guy?
Yes.
He actually was the voice of that little blob thing.
Oh, that was so cute.
Because I was confused.
I don't know if the blob thing was supposed to be cute, but
it was funny, though, when it would run into battle like this.
Yeah.
And he's like, I have holes. Yeah. But it was funny because at the credits, I meant to tell you, we're watching the credits and I see that guy's name come on the credits. I'm like, that guy wasn't in this movie. Did I fall asleep? I'm like, did I miss some? And so I had to go look it up, and I'm like, oh, no, he's a voice. Okay.
He's a voice.
I was bummed that Michael Pena wasn't back.
That was what I was going to say. That, to me, has been the lost opportunity of all the films.
Everybody's
not having Michael Pena in any of the others.
Everybody has been begging for...
Anytime you have a flashback, you need Michael Pena.
Everybody's been wanting that. They've been wanting it like when Avengers was going to happen.
He would go good in Spider-Man.
They wanted, before Endgame came out, they wanted Michael Pena to tell the story of the entire Marvel Universe leading up to Endgame.
They should have him, and it would be good in Spider-Man.
I don't know, because the next Spider-Man movie that if they make, it's going to be a whole new world. And I think what they're going to finally do is to be a self-contained Spider-Man movie. So they got rid of everything else.
Yeah, because all of his friends
I will tell you, this is my only problem with the Marvel movies, is that everything is connected to everything else. And I would love, I know comics are like that, but I would love, like, you read like 5 issues of Spider-Man book, and it's just Spider-Man by himself fighting villains. And then suddenly Captain America shows up, and they might have a 3-episode issue arc. And then it's Spider-Man again. Mm-hmm. You know, and I would love to be able to see movies like Shang-Chi, you know, the Captain Americas, the Thors, where it was just them periodically. And not everything has to tie into this next big story. I know that's kind of the model they created, but I want to see Spider-Man.
But I mean, it's been working for them, I think.
But I want to see Spider-Man just fight Dr. Octopus by himself and not have to be an Avengers level event or need an Iron Man to come help out, or, you know, I want to see. I don't really want to see.
Well, didn't we have that with the other Spider-Mans?
Yeah, but they weren't part of this. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. We had it.
Okay, woman, I'm gonna punch you in the cheek.
You better not.
Like, I liked Captain America was a Captain America movie. The next 2 Captain America movies were not Captain America movies. They were beginning to become Avengers movie. Like Winter Soldier, still my favorite Marvel movie ever. Is more of a spy thriller. It's Captain America, but you start to get other characters. Then you get Civil War. It's an Avengers movie that just happens to be labeled Captain America. Anyway, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is in theaters, as she said. So go check it out.
Go check it out. Get some.
Watch it on the biggest, loudest, craziest screen you can find.
It's fun. It is fun. I think you'll like it.
Yeah.
Over to you,
we're
sir.
On this part already?
Yeah.
Are we doing contests? Or are we doing which one am I doing?
You're doing DVDs and things.
DVD release. Not a big week this week. Empire of Light, which we talked about on the show, that's nominated for a lot, I think some Oscars and whatnot, is coming out on the Blu-ray. Dragonheart is getting a 4K release. So I like Dragonheart. That's one with Sean Connery plays the dragon. Was it Dennis Quaid and David Thewlis?
I've never seen this.
Yes, you have.
Have I?
Yes, you've seen it. Oh, God, man. I know for a fact you've seen it. She has. Remains of the Day with Anthony Hopkins is getting a 4K release. Dazed and Confused is getting a 4K release. Jack Ryan, Shadow Recruit, the one that has Chris Pine as Jack Ryan, is getting the 4K release. The Magnificent Seven, the original.
Oh, wow.
The original one, not the remake, is getting a 4K release.
Yul Brynner?
Yes.
Nice.
And
I knew something, guys.
Steve McQueen.
I only know because my dad's a Yul Brynner fan.
And Charles Bronson in that too.
That's probably why he's also a Charles Bronson
fan. Giovanni's Island, which looks like it's a new. I don't know if it's a Ghibli film. I can't tell. I don't know, but it looks like it's an anime of sorts. And then The Old Way, which is a new Nicolas Cage Western. The first time Nicolas Cage has ever made a Western.
That's awesome.
So
how's that possible?
I don't know. A lot of people have asked that question.
He's looking good right there. In that
but we'll be talking about that next week. Rawhead Rex is getting the 4K. The Hunter and Running with the Bases are all getting 4K releases.
Cool.
So that's what's coming up.
All right. Coming out online or at the theater on Tuesday on the line. It's a movie called Heart of a Champion. It's a 14-year-old dealing with the divorce of her parents and decides to enter a horse riding competition. So who knows? I'm assuming we're going to be inspired. Also on the line, The Wraith Within. It's a group of people who return to their hometown to find out that,
To be wreathed?
yes, that something is terrorizing the small town. I'm going to assume it's Wraith, but who would know? Who would know? Then coming out on video, demand, and digital, this is an animated feature called Lamya's Poem. It's about a Syrian refugee girl who dreams of becoming a poet. Coming out on Wednesday on Netflix, it's a movie called The Strays. I'm looking forward to watching this one. This is the one where it seems like the lady has like the perfect life, everything's going great, but some people arrive into town and her life begins to unravel.
Are they strays?
Yes. Coming out Friday. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Friday in theaters, a movie called Jesus Revolution. It's basically a drama based on the true story
of Jesus' revolution,
of the revival that took place in the 70s in California and kind of spread across the country. And I know like Billy Graham was involved.
Jesus was in the 70s?
Yes, and all these things. So it's about that, and yes, Southern California revival. This one is going to be the one we're looking forward to on Friday. Cocaine Bear, also based on a true story.
That's right.
Loosely based on a true story. I think it's already getting some flack.
Yeah,
but who cares?
That makes it even more entertaining.
Basically, drugs fall out of a plane. A bear eats cocaine.
It goes on a rampage.
There you go. And it's going to be funny.
In the real story, that's not what happened. But
I know.
It's more
limited. Coming out in video, demand, and digital, a movie called Devil's Peak. It's about these people on Devil's Peak in the Appalachian Mountains. There's a crime lord. Somebody's trying to free his father. I don't know. Drama. Also on the line, Rosebud Lane says a Hollywood filmmaker connects with his estranged son in North Carolina, dealing with their troubled past. Coming to Prime Video. Has this not been out yet?
No, I think what this is. Well, tell them the name and I'll explain.
Okay, this is Die Hard, the movie. This is the Die Hard-esque movie with Kevin Hart.
And it was a series on what was that thing that went away?
It was
not Tubi to the. It was kind of like that.
It was one of those apps during COVID, and it had like episodic TV.
Yeah, so basically
that's where my ghost house remodel show.
That's
where
my Reno 911 episode came too. Basically, what this is they put the entire episode together, look like into a movie.
Mm-hmm.
It is hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Die Hard. It's Kevin Hart, John Travolta, I think Josh Hartnett, somebody else. And it's basically a fictionalized version of Kevin Hart, who decided he wants to be an action. Quibi, yes. And he wants to be an action star. And so they sent him to stunt school, and John Travolta plays this guy who was like the ultimate trainer to make you an action star. And it is really funny.
It's hilarious. So they put it all together.
I think they put it together and made one long movie out of it.
It's so funny. And Josh Hartnett's funny too when he shows. You've got to watch it. It'll be on Prime Video.
I'll rewatch it as a whole.
I will too. It'll be fun. Okay, coming to Netflix, a movie called We Have a Ghost.
It looks funny.
Is it a comedy?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, something about there's a ghost named Ernest haunting the home, and they come to investigate. Isn't
it Anthony Mackie?
Yes, Anthony Mackie
and David Harbour.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's Netflix.
David Harbour is Red Guardian. And then Anthony Mackie is obviously Captain America now.
So that's the Netflix movie. The Hulu movie of the week is called Bruiser. It's about this guy dealing with fathers and families and toxic masculinity. Who knows? It's a drama. We'll watch it. It looks interesting. We'll see. Limited. I don't want to tell you all the. Okay, video demand and digital. I don't understand what this is.
I have a screening for it, and I've seen the other ones.
4P for Evs. That's what it's called.
This is the third or fourth film in the franchise.
Is it animated?
No. It's a movie the original movie is called the FP.
Okay, well this is the FP for Evs.
And it's
Game Warriors battle their way to the future.
It's really hard to explain.
Okay, well.
The guy, Jason Trost, is it Jason? I'll make sure. Yeah, Jason Trost, I believe wrote and directed it. He's got an eye patch in real life. He's also the star of it typically. But he's a real life like cinematographer in big films.
Yeah.
Like he's worked on some major films and stuff. So these are like these movies that he's made. Yeah. But there are a lot of like it's like trauma level films, like Toxic Avenger and that kind of stuff back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
but then with a lot of CGI special effects.
That's why I thought it looked animated.
Yeah, it kind of looks video game-ish, but it's live action.
That's what it feels like.
And it's like the FP is like a dance off.
Okay,
it's like Dance Dance Revolution.
I gotcha.
But the dance stuff was like fighting against the bad guys. And it's
okay, well that's what this is. They're rhythmic game warriors.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's ridiculous.
Okay, so I guess if you watch the FP, you need to watch
I don't know if this
FP
is
for Evs.
Let me look. I don't know if this is like actually the fourth one or if this is the third one.
Oh my gosh, who knows?
I have a screening link to watch it. I just haven't watched it. And then
that's what's happening
I might end up
this week.
Interviewing Jason Trost.
Okay, cool. All right. Do you want to tell us about the giveaways and contests, my friend? Oh.
Excuse me. So there's FP2 Beats of Rage.
Oh, okay.
Then there's FP3 Escape from Baku. And then there's FP4 Evs.
I think it's for Evs.
Yeah, it's for Evs.
Is how it's phonetically told to me as I was watching the info.
Yeah, it's like it's ridiculous.
Okay, tell me about the contest, baby.
Sorry. So we have a lot of the same stuff. We only have a couple. I don't even know if we have any new ones, except maybe one.
Yeah, there's.
We've got digital copies left of the menu. That's going to be ending soon. Same with the Grandmaster of Kung Fu. We got physical copies, Blu-rays. One of the new ones we have is we have a 4K Steelbook edition of the original, not a remake, the original 70s, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
We're proud of our Chainsaw Massacre.
I take it back. It's not the Steelbook. It's just a standard 4K release.
When are we going to go to the Chainsaw Massacre house?
I hope so.
Okay.
Just like you make a trip over there.
All right.
I think it's the gas station at the house.
Oh, okay, the gas station.
When they sell barbecue there.
But our child has been, and she survived. So I'm not.
They have a hotel you can stay out there, and they serve barbecue. Yeah, I'm so excited.
Wow.
Anyway, there's some digital copies of Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. We also have some Blu-ray copies of Project Wolf Hunting that we talked about
earlier.
And the 4K Steelbook edition of the original Cloverfield film.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you so much, friends, for joining us on our journey around film. Oh, wait.
There's more.
Valentine's Day was this week, babe.
So we kind of decided differently on our February movies that we're looking at Valentine stuff, but instead of it having to be genres, we're just randomly picking Valentine things
that happen.
But
Valentine
also,
themes.
February is Black History Month. So we've
Black
decided
History Month,
the next two, well, I guess just one more show.
One more
show. Then we're going to pick some sort of movie about Black culture.
Black history.
Yeah, Black history. Just movies that we like that deal with that culture. I already know, we may do a couple of them. So it's not necessarily going to be, Malcolm X or something like that. It's just a movie you like.
I would pick Malcolm X.
Well, that's fine. I'm just saying, but it may deal with just something that deals with Black culture. Like you
empowering and moving.
You were yelling juice a while ago, which is well, it's not an empowering movie, but it is in that kind of that world of stuff. So anyways,
Valentine's.
What movie are you picking?
So for my Valentine movie, I picked the movie Valentine.
So not a good movie.
It was okay.
Do you even remember the movie?
I do remember the movie.
You watched it?
Probably 5-10 years ago.
I don't even remember. I just remember its existence.
I'm going to say 10 years ago. The reason I watched this movie is because it had David Boreanaz in it, who was from Buffy and Angel. And basically, there's a serial killer on a college campus. And a mystery is afoot.
Yeah, I forgot Denise Richards and Marley Shelton and Katherine Heigl were all in this.
So I think it's a cute little
slasher
movie. It's a slasher flick, but
good one.
It's called Valentine because there is a Valentine's Day dance at the end, and the killer is revealed.
That's right. Well, I just went pretty simple for this one, and it was actually because I wasn't prepared. I've been going through some stuff, so it was the last thing on my brain. And so when she mentioned the other one, she was going to the one she picked originally, but wasn't the one she thought it was.
Yeah, I thought it was this Valentine. It was a different Valentine,
which is My Bloody Valentine. So I went ahead and went with that one to give you two versions. Actually, you have My Bloody Valentine, the original from 1981. Then you have the remake, which is My Bloody Valentine 3D, that was from 2009. That has Jensen Ackles from Supernatural in it. Yeah. I actually like both of them.
They're really good movies.
I don't know if this one will be classified as the remake is really good, but I enjoy it for what it is. It's just a slasher flick with a guy from the mines with his pickaxe cutting out hearts and whatnot.
Really good.
This one is a recent collector's edition from Shout Factory. Through their Scream Factory brand.
Nice.
And this one is a DVD release from, was it Lionsgate? Yeah. So, but My Bloody Valentine, you got some options. I don't know if I think they did sequels too, but I don't know. So you have Valentine.
Some Valentine
or
movies.
My Bloody Valentine.
How come our Valentine movies are slasher films?
Because we
are there
firmly
no love
believe that,
Valentine movies?
We firmly believe that Valentine's some bullshit.
Is there not a Valentine love movie called
Yeah,
Valentine?
isn't there a movie called Valentine's Day? Isn't that sequel to New Year's Day or the first one or whatever?
Yes, with all the interweaving love stories.
Nobody
cares about
that.
This
movie.
is more exciting.
And nobody
Watch
died
these.
in that movie.
Oh well.
What is the slasher movie with Snoop Dogg called? Have you never seen that?
No.
We have.
There's one where he's a vampire.
No, I don't think that's it. I don't think he's a vampire in that one. Maybe it is.
Hood of Horror?
No.
Bones?
Bones, yeah. And then a slasher, or is he a vampire in that?
I feel that's the one where he's a vampire.
I don't remember. I haven't seen it forever. I just watched it because of Snoop Dogg. It's not a good movie either. But anyway, moving on. That has nothing to do with Valentine's Day. It could be black culture.
Oh my gosh.
I always thought he looked cool on that cover.
He does look cool in that cover.
Anyway.
Okay. Thank you so much for watching our show that went all over the place. We appreciate you. Make sure you check out our website, HollywoodMatrimony.com. Thank you for watching us live today. Don't forget to go find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Hive. I don't know if I missed something. Yes.
It doesn't matter. Join us next week for an all-new episode of Hollywood Matrimony Live. We'll talk about a bunch of other non-stuff.
Love you guys. Peace be with you.
Peace out, children.